Giants and the Vikings, this one within a field goal. Brian Dable and company catching 3, and that total at 48.5. It's one of the higher totals that we're going to see Super Wild Card weekend. Christmas Eve, home by 3. The spread was Minnesota laying 4.5. Both of you guys are on the Giants catching the points here. Pete, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I am. And the last time they should have beat them. I mean, they had 450 yards of total offense. They moved up and down the field. They had some key drops in that game where if you watch the game again, you saw, look, there's an opportunity. They catch that ball, they win that game. Then they get beat on a 61-yard field goal. That doesn't happen all the time. The reason I do is, look, people say the Vikings are frauds. I've made that mention before. -3, that's a really bad point differential for a team that has all those victories and a division title. I think the Giants and Brian Dable have a great matchup against that defense. And you know what happens? This is a big moment for Daniel Jones. Go make your money. Yeah. You go win a playoff game, they're going to pay him. And every time he does win a playoff game, I think it goes up.
They're going to have to pay him.
They will.
Obviously, he was able to earn that this year with his way he's played, and obviously the job Brian Dable has done with him. But it's also about the Vikings and whether or not they can stop Saquon Barkley. To me, that's what makes this offense go for the Giants. You talked about the issues, too. Minnesota had stopping the passing game with Daniel Jones. They showcased, even though they're not the most prolific team in the NFL, they can light that secondary up. So that's one where I'm with you. I think the last game was close. Minnesota needed, a 61-yard field goal in order to win it. I think the Giants can not only keep this one close, but probably outright go and win it. I've been hearing a lot from my buddy Tim, who's a big Giants fan. He was getting on me for saying that I didn't have high optics for, or I wasn't optimistic about what the season was going to look like. The bottom line is they're here now. So now this is time for Daniel Jones and the rest of this Giants team to try to make a run, surprise a bunch of people. The defense is vastly improved. And I guess I'll just ask you this. Is this a big game for Kirk Cousins?
I was going to ask you that. Is it?
I mean,
yes, it is.
He's more
played
experienced.
Well.
He's
Look,
played
I'm
great
going to give him some credit. He's played well this year. He's played
well for the last 8 years.
He's carried that team because he's been forced to, because the defense is terrible.
Yeah.
So he's been forced to do so. By the way, if you really pinned your buddy Tim down, he probably didn't think they'd be this good either.
Well, and that was my response. I don't know that anyone foresaw you guys being a playoff team. That being said, they're here now. I'll go ahead and take those 3 points. I also think if they're going to win this game, it's going to be an under. I don't think they win in a shootout. Even as good as Daniel Jones, the Giants looked the last game putting up yards in production, I look at this different than you do. I think this has to be a lower scoring game if this thing's going to be tight.
I know an 87-year-old man that's very happy the Giants are in the postseason. My dad. He loves them.
They'll get to see the Giants. By the way, we saw that graphic with Minnesota and the negative point differential.
New York has a negative.
Exactly. So we have 2 teams.
But they're on the road. They're a wild card.
Correct.
You're talking about a division winner.
Yeah.
A 13-game winner.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's surprising.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.